when we were teenagers, our job was to set up the Christmas tree. I really don't know where adults were. When I look back at things we did, there was no adults. There was no organized soccer game thing. It was like kids went to play and the dads went to work and the mothers took care of younger kids and stayed at home. There was no adults hovering over us. So we were sent up there to decorate the church. And as we walk in, they've told us in advance that the Christmas tree is already in the building. So we walk in. Now this was Delphi Church, Delphi United Methodist Church. And I do maintain it's the coldest building in North America that wasn't exactly designed for refrigeration. It was just cold, you know. Those old guys, they knew how to do a lot of things, but they didn't know how to do a lot of things well. So we walk in, you know, it's really cold, you can see your breath in front of you, and we're looking where we think the tree ought to be, and then we looked around and it was in the corner. Let me tell you what, it looked similar to that pole lamp over there. The distance between the limbs was about 5 feet. This was just a sad looking thing. There'd be branches come out, then 5 feet, branches come out, 5 feet, branches come out. So it was just like, we just look at, how are we supposed to decorate that? And Mike says, Mamaw gave us that. So we all went, oh. Okay, so this was not back in the day when kids decided, that's not good enough. We all just said, okay, how are we gonna do that? So the 3 older boys went and got the farm tractor and they start looking for, you know, white pine, which is, you know, that was what the tree was. They went around and they said, there's not any that looks good. And they said, there's just ones that look like that, because there had been some trees in previous years, but they'd all been used up and never was trimmed or anything like that. So they went to our house and they got a bit and brace, which is a hand tool that has an auger on it, and it sort of bows down like that. And the way you do it is you put your bit in there and you hand crank it and you make your little hole. So they went and got another tree, cut all the limbs off of it, sharpened the limbs up, came up to the tree, and they're drilling holes. And then we all said, you know, it won't really look like a pine tree, because a pine tree, all limbs come out from the same spot, as we know from our botany studies now, opposite. But if you're doing that, you better go alternate, because it won't have any strength. So they were thinking about the angle of the drill and everything, and they're drilling holes and they're sharpening these things. So they're making a tree. They're taking 2 trees and making 1 tree. And that was when you had those old lights, those strings of light. And if one light went out, none of them worked. They were set up in series. So, you know, there was always a thing every Christmas to say, okay, which one's the good one? So you got one working, and then you took all the other light bulbs from the one that wasn't working and you put it in your test hole when you got your strands together. So we had that together, and they said, okay, now you gotta watch how you handle these branches, because they'll twist. So we kind of were real ginger and got them all laced up. And that's when you had those aluminum foil icicles. Do you remember icicles? They were actually made out of aluminum foil, and you had to hang them. You had to hang one at a time and make sure it draped down. So this thing has taken 3 hours longer, because we didn't just have to decorate the tree, we actually had to make a tree. So we put it all together and got it decorated and set it up there. So that's Saturday night. We're cutting it really close, so it's gonna be the Christmas Sunday the next day. So we all went home and went to church the next day. And we're walking in and we're looking at the tree and we're kind of wondering, did one of those limbs do that flippy thing or what happened? And we went up and sat down, and Mrs. Mearns says, you know, I was a little bit worried about that tree when I first saw it, but I knew if these kids would decorate it, it would look fine.